we're looking at Module 1, Lesson 12. Lesson 12 is tables of equivalent ratios, exactly what we've been doing. All tables represent equivalent ratios. It's a nice visual of all equivalent ratios. So we're going to continue working with them today. However, we're not using the notes that are in the modules. I wanted to do a different lesson to introduce it, so we're using the notes that I created that you got from the outbox and that are also posted online on the blog. Okay? So let's take a look at the question being asked. Katie makes 5 rainbow loom bracelets in 20 minutes. How long will it take her to make 8 bracelets? So the first thing we do is identify our ratio. What are the two things being compared? What are two things? Two things. 5 bracelets. Alright, so we're comparing bracelets, 2 minutes. How many bracelets in how many minutes? So you're writing your little reference key off to the side, your little cheat sheet off to the side, whatever we want to call it. What is the ratio they gave us? 4 bracelets to minutes. What's the given ratio? 20. Okay, so she makes 5 bracelets in 20 minutes. What are we trying to find out? What are we trying to find out? So if it's 8 bracelets, how many minutes? Sometimes they might give us the minutes, and we have to find the bracelets. Right now, that's the given, okay? It's just a fly. Biggest fly ever. You're going to eat me, but okay. So step 1. Now look at this, steps written out. So these steps are going to be able to help you with your homework tonight. So you should be using these steps tonight as a resource for your homework. But getting back to our notes, let's make our table. 5 bracelets in 20 minutes. So now let's scale up. We can scale up with repeated addition, plus 5, plus 20, or using the multiplication, times 2, times 2. So let's do times 3 is 15, times 3 is 60. Is everybody okay with where those numbers came and how we scaled up? Right now, we're just going to scale up using the method that we used. Just trust me, what you're about to tell me isn't always going to work. Okay, but I appreciate that. Okay, so what are we trying to do? So we have, let's step 2, identify the question. Normally, you don't have to write the table a second time. When you're doing your homework, you don't have to write the table the second time. But for now, I'm going to ask you to do that. Let's find the question. Well, 8 bracelets would be about there in how many minutes? Can we find the answer on the table? Is the equivalent ratio on the table? No. 5 to 20, 10 to 40, 15 to 60, those are all equivalent ratios. But 8 to, I don't know what, isn't on my table. My table's not going to help me. My table doesn't have the answer. All right, can you come? I have an idea. What if we could take our ratio table and stretch it out like an accordion or like a fan? If we stretched out our table so that I could see the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10, then I can find the equivalent ratio. Okay? But before I go any further, let's think what would be a reasonable answer. If I'm looking for my answer to fall in here, before I go any further, what should my answer should be? My answer should be between 20 and 40. So if I get 41, is that a reasonable answer? No. If I get 19, what about 21? It is, but is it the best reasonable answer? Is my answer going to be closer to 20 or closer to 40? Closer to 40, because 8 is closer to 10. But for now, as long as we know that our answer should be between 20, and 40. So if you get 41, that should be a red flag. Uh-oh, I gotta go back and check. Okay, but let's continue. So let's look at how we can take our ratio table and unfold it and stretch it out so we can see more specifically. We can make a let's try that again. Double number line diagram. Okay, a double number line diagram. That's just a fancy way of making a new visual to show equivalent ratios. Double number line. So double means 2. I see 2 here. 2 what? 2 number line. So there's my first number line on top, my second number line on the bottom. So first thing I should probably do is label them. So my top number line is going to be bracelets. And my bottom number line is going to be minutes. So now let's take our table. Everybody put your finger on your table on your notes. But not on your table, on the table in your notes. Under step 2, on the table. Put your finger on the table for step 2, the table. Put your finger on the table for step 2. Sorry, step 2. Take your finger and slide it down to the double number line. That's what we're going to do. So let's take 5 to 20 and put that here, 5 to 20. What was our next one? 10 to 40. And then we had 15 to 60. So all I did was take my equivalent ratios from my table and put them on my double number line. I didn't do any new math. I didn't come up with anything else. We just slid it down. Any questions on where those numbers came from? So those are our blue line ratios. How does that sound like a thing? All right, blue line ratios. Is everybody okay with where those numbers came from? Yeah. Okay. So now, step 4 is to number the number line for the given value. See here, it's in red, given value. So what was given to us? What was given to us? The 8, which represents the bracelets. So let's put that 8 here on our number line. So let's see, I could do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Questions on how I did that? There's my accordion. That's me stretching it out so I could see all of the equivalent ratios between 5 to 20 and 10 to 40. Okay? We okay with what I did? So now I could see all the equivalent ratios between 5 to 20 and 10 to 40. How come I numbered the top line? Because that was the given. Sometimes you might number the bottom number line. If they gave us the minutes, we would have numbered the bottom and had to find the top. So you're not always going to label the top line, okay? That's why you have to pick the given value and label that number line. Any questions so far? God bless you, God bless you. Okay. So, can I make this 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 40? No. They have to be even. We have to have even intervals. We have to number those at even intervals. You okay? I saw one of these faces here.
No, I was just wondering when that science.
Yes, it all, like science intervals, exactly, on your graduated cylinder. Has to have even intervals. Right, same thing. Does anybody have one of these faces yet? We're okay with where they are. Okay. So let's take a look at step 5. Turn your page over. No. Let's take a look at step 5. typically you won't keep redrawing your double number line. I'm just doing it here to show. So when you're doing this for homework, you're just going to do one double number line diagram. I just wanted to break it into steps so that you can follow along, gentlemen. Okay. How many sections is that broken into? Some of you were able to see this and figure it out mentally, but that's not always going to work. So gentlemen, you need to pay attention, okay? Stay with me. What is the span from 20 to 40? What is that span, everybody? 20. I have to take that 20 and break it into how many sections? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But do I want all 5 of those? No, I have to figure out what 1 out of 5 is. 1 out of 5. How can I write 1 out of 5? Yes. So I have to find 1/5 of 20. I have to find. Hey, whoa! Where'd you get that from? Say what? Where'd that come from? Who has a question on where the 1/5 came from? I took that 20 from 20 to 40. And I had to divide it in 5 sections. That's because when I numbered the top number line, it created 5 sections. So I need to find 1/5 of 20. How do I find 1/5 of 20? What operation does the word of mean? Yes, that means multiplication. So rewrite that as 1/5 times 20. We're on step 6. 1/5 of 20. Of means to multiply. 20 can be 20 over 1. We write a whole number as a fraction by putting 20 over 1. Ladies, I multiply my numerators. 1 times 20 is? 1 times 20. Whoops. I don't like that color. That was a bit bright. 1 times 20 is? 20. Whoops. Whoops. 20. That's because I love math. And then let's try this again. 5 times 1 is? Oops. Another heart. Because I really love math. So 20 over 5 reduces to? 4. So that means each 5th or each section is worth 4. So now I can number the other number lines. So this would be 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. Does that work out into even intervals? Did I pick 40 evenly? Yes. Now again, you could have cross-reduced if you remember from elementary school. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So you could have just gotten 4 over 1 right away. If you remember how to cross-reduce, you can absolutely do that. Okay, but getting back to step 7, can we see our ratio now that we need? Yeah. So in 8 minutes, how many bracelets? 32. So our answer in a full complete sentence, which I already started for you, Katie will take 32 minutes to make 8 rainbow loom bracelets. Now let's double check that that's reasonable. We can go back and look at our original table. We have the arrows, 8 and the question mark. Does 32 fit between 20 and 40? Yeah, that's not guaranteed that it's right. Maybe I made an addition error, but at least I know it's a reasonable answer. It's close, okay? So when you're making these, you want to check that your intervals are even all the way from beginning to end, okay, and that your answer is reasonable. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is turn to your exit tickets. Turn to your yellow exit tickets, lesson 11, about a walkathon. Turn to lesson 12, exit ticket. Don't look at the one that'll go the fractions on it. It's just the lesson 12. Do you see where it talks about Kira's walkathon?
Yeah.
Just this one page, just this one question is your homework. So, I should see first, everybody do this. I want to see your key. So draw a box for your key. Lesson 12, that doesn't say Kira on lesson 12. You should have first your table. You should have your double number line. And then down at the bottom, you should have your answer in a sentence. Oops. And then I also want a statement if it's reasonable. You only have to do one table and one double number line. In our notes, we did them separately so you can see the steps. And make sure you use your notes as a reference.